Okay, welcome to Fahrenheit Performance Podcast, episode number 38. I've been getting a lot of shit for people for my Australian pronunciation of Chinese names, so I really hope I get this right. Xin Li,
Yes.
correct?
Correct.
From Pok Pok Away.
Pok Pok Away.
Yes. You are an illustrator. You're an architect. You're known for your Rafa jersey that you drew, and a lot of your local sketches and artwork, right? So why don't you just give yourself a brief introduction?
Oh, okay. I'm Xin Li, so I'm an illustrator in Singapore. This is a whole cliche story is that I started drawing since young as a child, partly because when I was growing up in my old house, my uncle, who is an architect, has a library that has all sorts of books on architecture.
Wow.
Including Rock Ride, then skyscrapers of New York, then to very traditional, maybe it's like old style Chinese comics of like your Journey to the West, all that. So there is a mishmash of different types of books that are very visual. So for kids, right, visual is the thing that attracts our attention. So
This is before iPads, before phones, before anything. So you just
and I'm the third child, so usually the attention is so split. It's like, looking at the big sister, and I always worry the youngest. So it's like third child, yes, go do your own thing. So
as long as you're not noisy, you know, not getting in trouble.
As long as I don't get into trouble, it's fine. So I'll be doing my own thing. Maybe I'll look at those books. I'll do my own doodles. I paste A4 paper together and draw. So that's my very early years of drawing is those. So the serious drawing only started during JC.
Okay.
So I actually don't have an art background, so I never take art lessons and stuff.
Okay, so your parents didn't force you to art class, and then you sit there every Saturday morning doing art class.
Yeah,
it's actually all self-taught.
Asian parents is like whoa. So my mom is she's an F&B business, so she wakes up at 5, 6, goes down, prepare the food, sells until late at maybe 6 p.m. or even later. My dad's like a hustler, and eventually he goes from selling insurance, selling property, selling fire path, all the way down to teaching music and running music centers.
So salespeople are like that. They can sell anything, and as long as they've got a product that they will be
they are
focused on.
They are so busy. It's like as long So for the middle child, is like don't have any problems. Don't have school calling can already. Or otherwise, my dad would be very happy to take out his belt or cane. So without art background, my first time like going to art theory was in junior college. So junior college, I went for this test. You draw your own hand, and then I managed to pass that. And I had 3 months. Used to have this first 3 months thing. So 3 months I was in art elective program.
Okay.
Eventually it's like, because I don't have art background, I thought maybe I'll leave the program and pursue like the usual. It's like, because once again, Asian family upbringing is like art means
what are you gonna do with art?
What can you do with art? So it's like take the physics chem, that the typical combination econs.
So looking back on your artwork from back then, was it good already? Do you?
Always very different. And it's kind of like exploration state. So, and that was also JC period. Eventually, the teacher gave me a chance to pursue art elective program, even though I spent 1 year doing the typical combi, and I realized that I really don't like it. So there they focus on theory. Technical stuff they don't teach. They say they might help you, but they don't teach, because usually people join in, they already have that foundation in secondary school or even primary school. So we kind of been left once again, like feels like childhood again. Left alone, go figure out, go practice drawing, do sketching. But there was a period when digital art is starting to come up. And we are lucky that they have a proper full-fledged like ComLab with
nice.
Max, and
so you learned how to do it from there.
So I got my first few Wacom tablets there and start drawing digitally. So that's how that started. But style-wise, is still figure out realism, or is it like the concept gaming style like Craig Berlin's?
Yeah.
So
I was looking at all your stuff online today, and I loved a lot of your illustrations. And the best way I can describe it, and this isn't, please don't take this offensively at all, is that your style is a mix between Tintin and Where's Wally.
Yep.
Right? Because Tintin is super, like 4 dots on the face is already the face, right? Two eyes, a nose, and a mouth. And then Where's Wally because there's a lot of stuff. And then you keep looking, you can look at the same picture or the same piece 100 times and you'll find 100 different things.
Actually, they are not too far from my childhood.
Okay.
So the West Wally one, going back to my uncle's library, he has books on Chinese paintings.
Yeah.
So West Wally, if you look at the way the top-down bird's eye view, a lot of things going on.
Yep.
If you look at Chinese traditional paintings, the way they depict architecture or the Qingming Shanghe, the very famous, the scenes of taking place in the city, you have basically it's like the Chinese version of West Wally, but done centuries ago.
Yeah.
But you have many
like a little bubbling honor and in the sky.
So I kind of had that there, and when I was a child, I used to draw like period because I watched period dramas. Was it MediaCorp? Yeah. They or TCS.
Color Court Hill.
Yeah, Color Court Hill. So they used to play and Stephen Chow or Zhou Xingci also they have all these period dramas. Then so I watched all those. I'll start drawing in that format. Then Tintin, because during primary school before morning assembly, I have a classmate that usually he'll bring out there was also asterisk and obliques in Tintin. So we will be looking at those comics before morning assembly starts.
It's amazing that the Tintin style it's so simple and there's so few lines, but you still portray exactly what you want to do. It's almost very precise.
And I kind of like that type of style. So if you look like, and I think more amazingly, that was done in like the mid 20th century.
Yeah.
And it feels still relevant today.
Yep.
And they even do like animated films of it. Then there are other comics also kind of similar. In fact, some don't even have dialogues, but it kind of communicate everything. I think it's
like silent films of the past. I've seen a few of those.
Father and Son.
Okay.
So it's by this German artist. So it's just a comics of the father and son journey. Then it could be something simple as the father comes in, tell the son, please go eat your dinner, stop reading. So the son goes, in the next frame the son goes, the father look at the book. Third frame, the son is eating, but the father is missing.
Yeah.
The fourth frame is that the son goes and the father is really lying on the floor reading the book.
Doing what the son was doing before.
So there's no dialogue, but it communicates everything you need to know really about distraction and the family, the everyday family occurrences. So those are the influences. Then, like you also mentioned, Tintin becomes a kind of what I associated with, because my current style, which goes to my uni days, that's when kind of like reconnected with the Tintin comics. And the themes of Adventures of Tintin also feels very relatable. It's like exploring new worlds. So I think it's also that age, 20s, like, I want to feel like I want to go see
go see the world and go.
So it's kind of relatable.
Yeah.
Then there was this guy, Guy Delis, who does a lot of these visual journals of places that are like, if I tell you the place is like, you already have an image in your mind.
Yeah.
Like Pyongyang, Kim Jong, this time was Kim Jong-il, I think. Kim Jong-il.
His father,
His father. So it's all the images of stereotypical image of what you think of North Korea is. Then the one that I picked up is his book on Jerusalem. So also you have a particular image of it. But his way of depicting all these places in a very personal way, approach could be like finding a playground in Jerusalem. Then he will be all like sketching, but being chased away by soldiers because he was sketching the wall. So he thought he was a security threat. So it's like, but for him it's like it's everyday life. Sketching everyday life. So, and he does it in a manner that is Tintin style. In fact, he also will refer back to Hergé's work in some of his frames. Like some of them were like references to iconic frames by Hergé in his Adventures of Tintin series, like Blue Lotus, etc.
Yeah. Okay, a lot of your stuff is Singapore story, right?
Yeah.
Singapore landscapes, shop houses, just typical things from Singapore. Has that always been what you wanted to depict?
So during that period where I picked up Adventures of Tintin, reconnected with it, and did this work, it's also the period like, in architecture you have to do site studies.
Yeah.
So
Because you're actually a trained architect, right?
no, a trained architect.
Oh, you got a degree in
I majored in
architecture,
architecture.
Yep. And you worked as a junior architect.
Yeah, for a few years.
Okay.
And today where we are doing this podcast,
Yep.
coincidentally, it's also where my thesis is based.
Oh, is it really?
So my thesis is based on the site that I picked was Balestier.
Okay. Which is just the...
Yeah, just here.
Yep.
So Balestier Road changed a lot.
Yeah.
Then earlier we were just talking about how the area at Tan Tock Seng Hospital, the old Tan Tock Seng Hospital with the rows of like single story where the wards are. That was kind of the main side of my thesis. So doing all these site studies, I kind of observed how the landscape have changed.
Yep.
And that transformation of Balestier is kind of like it kind of represents how the transformation in Singapore is.
Right? If it gets too old and it's not heritage listed or something, you'll probably get demolished and build something new in there.
So you kind of see that similarities there. Then think back of my experiences in growing up in Singapore. There's this place called Neo Teo in Lim Chu Kang also. So long time ago, my aunt...
That's where everyone goes for congee loops now, right? That's
go past the cemetery or that. Yeah. So that area, that was also kind of part of my childhood. So
okay. Because right now it's just sort of almost like nothing out there anymore, right? It's
out there.
A few.
Can you imagine? I used to be that where they do urban ops training.
Yeah.
That's where my mom used to sell like hor fun.
Oh, so there used to be
there's a coffee shop downstairs. Yeah. So even so, I remember going back there doing my national service, and then
that's kind of surreal, isn't it?
It's surreal. Then it's like they're telling me, it's haunted and stuff. No, it's not. It's just empty.
Then your childhood there.
It's just empty. And then we were like doing like room clear in my aunt's former apartment.
Nice.
So it's very surreal. And, again, goes back about why I cover Singapore, because I kind of like, these places are changing, it's going. So in my own manner, like a photographer will photograph like places like Denzel would do, or like Teofi would write poetry about changing Tanglin Hot. I approach enjoy.
Yeah.
So my earliest work, I was thinking, what if Tintin visits Seletar? What if he visits Pulau Tekong?
Oh, is that what your
so
inspiration was?
Kind of my early motivations were started out from there. They eventually it kind of becomes a blend of that and they are picking out along the way. So sometimes they say, it reminds me of Studio Ghibli. That reminds me of like the Tintin Association is that, or they will say or like Doraemon. So the influences keep coming.
So how do you tackle a project? Like if I said to draw this building, for example, right? And do you study old photographs? Do you sit in the corner and just look at the building? How do you sort of in your mind unpack it and
there is no like one size fits all template. There will be some stages that are kind of the same, but the approaches for each project is very different, especially if it's a commission project. So if I'm going to draw this building in my own way, then and my interest in all changing landscapes, then I will look at maybe photos or old maps.
What was here before and what is here now? And
so here would be a former Jewish cemetery.
Really?
Yeah. So this area is interesting because in the past it's Healy and the Jewish cemetery here, and further down the Middleton Hospital. It's popular then because this is the kind of place where you don't feel well. Last time in the past, I believe the medical practice was that if you don't feel well, you go to somewhere with fresh air and you get better. So this was the area meant for that. That's why the hospitals were built here. In Middleton, which is very huge, medical facility was built here. And I will be interested in that. Then I see, look at the maps of how it changed. Then maybe, looks like there's something here or that I'm interested in. I'll try to look for photos in the National Archives. And nowadays, because of social media and internet, a lot of the former like British military personnel or expats, like not like who live here or work here in the 30s or 50s, they will have photographs of the area. So there's this whole wealth of information available online. Then I'll try to compose it or what I feel is interesting that tells a story about how this place was with different layers of from different time periods. So is that they always say like Singapore is very small, there's no history, it's only like
59 years old
or 60 years. But if you look at all this, like even if like a period of 30 years, there's so many things going on there. Then the bonus is that whenever I post about this, sometimes I'll get, my uncle used to he used to own the provision shop here, and then somebody, my grandpa used to patronize your shop here. Then they kind of reconnect on their own little comment section.
Comments take a life of their own.
But for commercial project, then that's a different ball game. Then you have to really find out what the client wants.
The design brief.
So if the client tell you, be free and do what you want, that is a worst case scenario.
It's actually, it sounds really good because you feel like you can do whatever you want, but then they don't actually mean that. They have an idea of what they want, right? So.
After years of working in this industry, you learn that you must know you need to read between the lines.
It's like, actually, it's not that different from architecture, right? Because as an architect, when you get a design brief for a building, you should be told how many rooms you want, where the receptions are going to be, with functions of each of the rooms. So then you've got an idea. If someone said to you, build a building, just do it however you want, that'll be a nightmare.
Because everyone, like architecture and even in design especially, end of the day is really about, I think, 60% or 70% is people. And everyone has their own interpretation, their own priorities. So sometimes they say that, but maybe back of their mind, coming to you, if they specifically have already come to you, means they have already specific things in mind that they know you're capable of doing. But they are not quite sure because some of them are not visually trained or design trained, so they don't know how to communicate that to you until they see it. So as the illustrator, sometimes you want to minimize that part of until you see it. Otherwise, there's a lot of revisions, and sometimes you're also unhappy. The client also unhappy. It's like, why am I charged all this? I didn't know I'd be charged all this. That's why it's like the hardest part is really trying to find out what they want, and try to communicate. And everyone have a very different approach. And way of communicating.
Even if they say, I want 10 people standing in a row waiting at a hawker center, for example, right? And technically you draw it as like that, right? It sometimes being exactly what they say is not exactly what they want.
So right?
It might fulfill everything that they said, but then it's just the emotion and the feel of what they're looking at, and
that's why they say now the era is the vibe era. So sometimes it's not specific, but they kind of have a certain vibe that they want.
And it's not a feeling that they...
For you, it's like, because for you need something specific so they can draw it down. So that's the hardest part, find what is that specific thing. So I have experience with people that, I want to draw like, the 1930s Shanghai, but that if you are very critical, especially if you are very academic, you say, no, this art deco is not this era. You really like communicating wrong. And you have to really find the visuals for it. So I have too many experience of that. They will show me the photos that they say you're in 1930s, but the photos I see is that there's 70s era.
It's a Toyota Corolla or something.
So especially if you enter this field and then you can be very good at the drawing part, you can be very good at organizing part. If your people side, it's
exactly.
And the people side, you can be very good at the beginning, doesn't mean you have the
energy to keep it, push it over the line.
Yeah. There's also for me it's I think later the cycling part helps.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. So this is I don't say it's a cycling podcast, but it's more of an endurance athlete podcast. We were like 20 minutes in, we haven't talked about that.
I think this is a health podcast.
Okay, let's say health. Okay, health podcast. Yeah. So cycling, I noticed that a lot of your illustrations are, let's not talk about the rougher jersey because it's obviously a cycling thing, but like the postcard series that you have, there is a random bike in the corner, or I've looked at some other stuff, and there's a lot of cycling influence into your illustrations, right?
Yes.
And you're a cyclist, so
yeah.
So let's just talk about your cycling background, I guess. How long have you cycling from a kid? Were you like cycling to school? What's your cycling story?
So as a kid, I was like, I'm super outdoorsy, timid.
Well, you're upstairs in your uncle's.
So it's like
drawing, right?
I hate running. I hate most of the. So I would try to be invisible during PE lessons.
Okay.
It's like, oh, somebody threw the ball. It's like I'm not around. Or it's like, oh, I the backup. Oh, that's great. I can just catch them or doodle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like so. My sister and my friends from my primary school days, it was like, sing me now, and now it's like he's riding road bike. It's like cannot connect. It's just the same person. Yeah. So I started cycling sometime because like early on is showing I have architecture background.
Mm-hmm.
So right after uni, I worked for DB Architects.
Yeah.
So I hustle and work really hard during that period.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how junior architects, how difficult it is, and how much work it is. Because people think architects, you're designing buildings, it's so glamorous, you're doing this and doing that. But actually, when you come out of university, because I used to do construction, right?
Yeah.
When you come out of university, the first 5 years of your career as a junior architect is doing all the drawings and sketches and on site and dusty and dirty and stressful and long hours, right? And then it's not until 10, 15 years in that you might be recognized as
not only the drawing, architectural drawing is like, oh, it's not nice shapes, nice spaces, nice lighting. It's like, oh, it's offset -5 toilet. Yeah,
and it needs to be precise, exactly precise as well.
Oh, the light doesn't meet. What happened? Need to go check AutoCAD.
Yeah.
Go back, draw again. Then.
So was it out of stress relief that you started cycling? What was it?
That period is like, even though I was lucky that I didn't take the full architecture part because I go in with kind of a bit of illustration background because my Gui series went viral and stuff.
Okay.
And I did some.
So you quite known for illustrating before you even graduated.
So I joined in the time Angeline and my immediate bosses, Haipin, Tan Chi Kiang, they kind of know I have this background. Yeah. So some they will try to make me join the help out in the competitions, do rendering some condos.
Oh, nice. Okay.
With my style, so it's not it kind of stands out from the usual digital rendering.
Yeah.
So and I kind of they kind of also let me continue my illustration outside.
That's cool.
And you probably heard of this thing called the FIRE movement.
Okay.
Financial department.
Yes.
Financially independent. So
yeah,
I work in DP. I also do my illustration. I work both routes hard so that I can build up.
Yeah, your hustle.
Be financially independent.
Yeah.
So
side hustle. They call it side hustle.
Yeah, the 3 years really is like I kind of like burn.
You're burning the candle at both ends.
So it's like socially I make sacrifices, but financially I become more stable. But my health took a beating.
Yeah.
So I think, but I'm not eating healthy for sure. By the time end of it, right, they found out I got gallbladder stones. So
wow!
So it was really bad.
Yeah, because you're much younger than me, and you already got COVID.
Yeah. So then after I left DP, I joined my friend in the studio in Bugis National Design Center. So during that time, he was offered a studio and there's empty space, so I joined then.
Yep.
join him so that when there's also feel like when you go out and work, it feels like you're still going out and work.
Yeah, yeah.
So from there to my place to Bugis, it's like it's not too far. Why not take up cycling?
Yeah.
So I bought my first bike, which is a hybrid bike. And
so
also
flat bar. It's a flat bar.
it's
skinny
a flat
tires.
bar, yeah. Not skinny tires. It's quite thick because I'm not very confident on thin tires yet.
Yeah, okay.
And that was kind of a recommendation. So I followed this article by Rui Ming from Workserman. So he wrote a lot article about commuting to work, how he got more healthy,
Yeah.
and he saves the money, etc. So it was kind of the motivation for me to also start commuting to work by bicycle, cycling to work. And so it becomes kind of a routine on when the days on weather is good, I'll just cycle there.
Yep.
And if the weather permits and traffic is not too bad, I'll cycle back.
Yep.
Otherwise, I'll just take the public transport.
Yep.
Because the public transport is terrible also. So if you go to work around 7,
Because Bugis is pretty jammed up, right? Especially there's construction going on there all the time.
the North South line is just jammed. And then if there's any faults on the MRT, is that that is so you're just jam packed with people.
Yeah.
So cycling is like you bypass all that, and I cycle at, they call it unearthly hours, 5 a.m. Yeah. So it's like I'll be the first person in studio until my friend only comes in around 10. So it's like I have most of the time alone in the studio, so I just work. Yeah. And I can have breakfast, a nice breakfast, kopi-o, siu dai.
And then you have motivate, like you don't feel guilty having a nice breakfast because you've just ridden in and you've done some exercise.
Yeah.
So then from then you got the bug, I guess.
Yeah, so it's okay. Start maybe when there I started, maybe I can cycle when I'm overseas also. So first time trying road bike was when I was traveling to doing this long overseas trip after I left DP.
So
it's
like a gap.
So there was this period where I was sharing studio and doing cycling, and then it's like, maybe I can cycle, so I shall take the opportunity to try out road bike in Melbourne. Because Melbourne is known for its cycling infrastructure, better than Singapore, right? So I use this service called Livelo.
Yep.
Yeah, I rented this road bike that I didn't know it's such a huge contrast to my hybrid bike. It's
It's like half the weight.
yeah, 15 kg versus like 8 kg.
Oh, really? It was 15 kilos, your hybrid. I guess it was steel framed and aluminium.
It doesn't help that I add this rack at the back. So even if so it's like 8 kg is like, wow, this is like feathers.
Yeah.
Then I was like riding, it's like I'm really not used to the thin tires.
Disc brakes as
how
well.
light it is. Then it was a drop bar. My first time using drop bar. It's like, and BRG bikes are also quite racer posture.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like I almost like.
And your body way further forward than a hybrid.
Yeah,
bike.
so it's like I'm not used to it. Then at this slope going down, I brake too abruptly, and
You know what it could have been, just thinking about this right here. Australia, so you're in Singapore, your right hand is your rear brake and your left hand is your front brake. In Australia, your left hand is your rear brake and your right hand is the front brake. So what might have happened is you might have just squeezed the brakes thinking that you're squeezing the rear, but you squeezed the front.
oh,
Because you said you went over, right? You went over the bars.
so just flew over then, but I didn't like flew over.
Yeah.
I landed on my knees.
Oh no.
So it's like, and while I didn't have a very bad fall, it also means my knees were
Banged up.
Yeah, it's banged up. And that was like my second day of my long trip.
Oh, so you're supposed to go a whole bunch of places.
So I thought
limped around
because
most
the route that I cycle all the way, I think along the coast, down to forgot this pier. Yeah, there is a very popular
It's like
cycling.
Kilda Beach and all that sort of area.
That's a very popular cycling route.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be, and there's actually bike paths also. So I thought it'd be a very easy. But after, so it got a bit swollen. Then it's like, the next thing is then I'll be heading over to Queenstown, New Zealand to pick up take snowboarding lessons.
Oh, so it's the winter time you did this, like June, July time.
Yeah. So during that period, so it means so I doing my snowboarding lessons with all these like knee bands, knee support, and try to.
So still painful. Still painful. So at least you didn't get
certain angles. It will hurt a lot.
Yeah.
But but I managed to postpone it 2 days, so I have 2 days of rest. Then it wasn't that bad, but that wasn't the end of it. After that, on the way back to Singapore, I stopped by Bali and took my advanced open water.
Nice.
So it's like, at certain angles, so imagine it's like people is like in your wetsuit, I still have the knee support also.
Yeah.
But luckily there was no fracture. But looking back, it's like I can't believe I did snowboarding and advanced open water with all that injury.
Well, I can't believe that didn't put you off cycling forever. Like now you're a road biker, right? So you came back and you bought a road bike after you came back?
I came back, I still continued doing my hybrid because partly it's also like, I think it's a very Singapore mentality. It's like, buy it, you spend that money, you should use longer.
Okay, so you want to get the money's worth out of the hybrid.
And it was a commuting bike, so I didn't, and eventually it's like you still have to progress through the clipless bike.
You gotta suck it up and get a proper jersey and some bib shorts. Yeah, you probably weren't wearing that back then.
Towards that was near the start of COVID, but nobody know was COVID then. I started. Maybe
2019ish.
So after a period of time, you said hybrid bike. Okay, I bought the Decathlon road bike.
Okay.
I remember bringing the bike.
Tri-band or something.
Yeah, I asked whether it can fit the rack. The rack.
Your main.
No, please don't. That was bike settlement.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. But I read the colors, red and blue. They say look like Superman cards. Okay. So that was my first road bike. Then I started to. Then eventually I started to use clipless. But until now I still use the dual one because I know.
So like mountain bike clipless.
Yeah, because I like to explore around.
Yeah. So you have the platform on one side, you flip it over, and it's the.
But usually I don't use the platform, but. It's because my shoes has a bit more grip.
So it's mountain bike shoes.
Kind of a mountain bike shoes.
So you can walk in the coffee shop and then you can and then if you go shopping you can just flip.
Especially some of these coffee shops, the floor can be very oily.
Oily and tired, right? It's always tired.
So first time trying Cleveland is like, whoa, this is like ice skating.
yeah, for sure. So how often do you ride now? Would you call yourself a full blown road bike cyclist now?
If I talk to my friend who is really into like cycling, he feel that I'm not a serious cyclist. I don't care.
Okay.
Because I kind of know that cycling for me is more like escape.
Yeah.
So especially during circuit breaker when you cannot go out. For me the thing I look forward to, partly also because the roads are very empty.
Yeah.
And I get to cycle further to town places and explore.
Yeah.
So that kind of becomes what I cycle for. So
I think cycling is a great way to explore, like for in Singapore's case, the country, right? So I had a flat tire once at New 2 Avenue, right? And I called Belinda and I said, Belinda's born and raised in Singapore, right? I called Belinda and said, hey, I got a flat tire. I can't remember why I couldn't fix it, but for whatever reason I couldn't fix it, and I called her and I said, can you pick me up from New 2 Avenue 2 or 3, whatever it was. There was some dogs and stuff out there. And she said, where the heck is that?
Oh, yeah, dogs.
Like, where are you? And she's from here. And I guess sometimes we go to these places like Kranji and all these, like, even Tanah Coastal, unless you're a cyclist, you've got no business going out to Tanah Coastal, right? And so you find all these places around Singapore that you wouldn't normally go as a normal person, right?
And you get to take it like slow also. And the other thing is also when you cycle, especially during circuit breaker, is that I know some people use their phones on bikes. I see people use both phones for a bike also.
I don't understand. And the people that listen to music, I can't listen to music. I just find it too dangerous.
I know there are uncles who play loud music.
Bluetooth speaker.
It's the techno oldie. It's like the Wang Sizhen Wei Wei, but it's techno version. Yeah. But sometimes I think they're doing that so that cars know that they're approaching.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so they avoid them. Yeah. So, if you are not the type that use your phones, right, that's the period where people can't message you.
Yeah.
And away from social media, you're away from phone, you're just concentrating or just pedaling.
Yep.
And if the roads if there's no crazy traffic, it's therapeutic.
Yeah, very.
Especially like the parts I like is Old Laundry Road.
Yep.
I think Jalan Mashhor. I really like Jalan Mashhor. I think sometimes you get horses also.
Yeah, that
horses.
Mount Pleasant and back behind there.
Yeah,
So.
Bukit Timah in the morning can be quite nice. But by 6-7 a.m. it's a totally different story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are nice. Then when the traffic is not too heavy, especially on weekends or very early morning hours, you cycle and just see scenes of the city waking up.
Yeah.
So you see other people as motorbikes delivering newspapers
on the mist sometimes as well, and the sun rising.
Or sometimes you see them like at certain roads there will be the vans, and then they'll be like distributing newspapers for different people. So to go and dispatch it. So you get to see all these different scenes, and then sometimes, once you get to Geylang, Clarke, sometimes you get you can encounter certain people are quite young.
The people are coming out on the night before, and you're getting out to exercise.
Orchard Delphi in the morning, like 4-5 a.m. Sometimes you see that kind of scenes going on. Then you just see like police officers over there questioning people. What are you doing here?
Yep.
Then Harbour Villa, you get to see a different side of Singapore. So. And I also take the time sometimes this interesting road, and I'll go and see. I didn't know there's an old kampong house. So where's old kampong house?
You don't have to worry about parking. You don't have to worry about whether the closest bus is, or you just take your time. You can just explore whatever you want. So how come you put the bikes into your illustrations? Is there a reason for that?
So some places, because some of these places I draw is the places I cycle to.
Okay.
And cycle past, and it kind of like, I feel like just drawing cyclists in it. And sometimes these roads, if you're a fellow cyclist, you kind of know that, I cycle there as well. In fact, sometimes that is a kind of a practice spot.
Like Mount Faber, for example, right? Everyone knows you're cycling in Mount Faber would be a cycle.
So some places, like the Mandai Road.
Yep.
That one. Everyone can recognize the former Nee Soon post office.
Okay.
It's currently the pet sanctuary.
Yep.
Yeah, so everyone can recognize that. I know quite a lot of I know there's a Monday recovery ride that always go past it.
Yeah.
Then Pasir Panjang, the part that comes down on sort of Buona Vista Road.
Yeah.
Then you'll go past where it used to be the West End.
Yeah.
So there you look at my drawing. The West End is no longer there. So but that part of the shophouse are drawn in. Once again, juxtaposing different time periods into the piece.
So it's like you almost have like, I think I saw Killiney Road, and you have some old built old shop houses, which are not there because I live quite close to Killiney. But then you've got a Kenyan bike riding in the front, which is obviously
Kenyan
new.
bike is mine. But there are some cyclists inside my works.
Yeah.
They are reference to my friends who cycle.
Okay.
So Sembawang piece, that one is based on, if you are in RCC, Rafa Cycling Club, you probably met him. Michael Yee is that posture is actually Michael Yee. Then if you look at Upper Thomson Road, Jalan Todak, the Tok Kok Sing Song shop house. It's also, I think I drew Christopher for Raphaels.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like you can see these references to some of my fellow cyclists. Then recently the local cycling brand Jern.
Yep.
So Upper Serangoon Road, you can see, hey, isn't that a Jern jersey?
Nice.
And you can see, I think Upper.
So Glee is riding last one.
Our products are inside. It's like support local. Then
of course.
East Coast Road, the Seaside Bungalow, Seaside Terrace shop house. Yeah, you can see the Jern Muset is inside.
Oh, nice. I have one of those.
Yeah, so it's like you sometimes I'll put those in also. Partly sometimes they'll say, is this like guerrilla marketing? But I think sometimes drawing those in, especially if like in the cycling community, you can recognize those brands and sometimes
it's your life, right? So you just you gotta draw inspiration of things that you see every day, and this is your full-time gig, right? It's your full-time.
Now it's my full-time gig. So since 2019, I think easily more than 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, so it's like Yen. When I was talking to Yen, he was the guy that did the sneakers. He was like he had to have a full-time job as well as doing that on the side. His side, I guess, your side hustle became your full-time job. Is it very cyclical? For example, like, do you see a lot of work at the beginning of the year and then middle of the year is kind of quiet, or how's?
It's I'm generally is like you don't know.
Yeah.
I think as if you asked me 3 years ago, there's more certainty. Now,
There was more certainty when you were starting than
more certainty.
than there is now.
Now I think the tech side they develop and changes very fast. So I think maybe it's like 4 years ago, nobody will foresee AI being such a big thing.
Oh yeah.
Even before AI,
Maybe 1 year, 2 years, maybe.
we have so many experiences also. Before AI was Fiverr.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of these ways. So they always thought that there will be the death of the industry, etc. But what you see is also like people adapt. So I'm kind of lucky. I entered the industry when social media was like free for all. So the algorithm was more simple. So we post anything, there's a more equal chance, more fair chance that you get viral, people will see it. Nowadays, maybe it's like you post on Instagram, reels and native videos are more, tick the boxes, more of that. Then there was no TikTok where I started, so you don't have to do dance too. So, but now it's like you see, it's like if you follow other more really hot illustrators, you will see James Egg does live drawing of people at the
subway. There's a guy that sits in the subway and does a sketch, right?
Tobiato has very savvy like video editing. So because he also get friends who are very skilled in vlogging and videography to work together. So and that kind of medium is also more
catchy as well.
It gets more attention. It's very suitable for the TikTok medium. It's very suitable for the current Instagram algorithm, etc. So there's different stages. And the part is that as long as you're viral, it's like you kind of know the projects, you're getting projects. And in the past also, certain fundamentals that you realize also is that the waves of project come at different periods of time that you kind of can tell. So end of financial year, when there's surplus, maybe they will engage illustrators. Big events, like National Day, Christmas, Chinese New Year, because some brands also know that these are the periods where they can get a lot of sales.
So if you had something for Christmas, would your project be like now for a few months before Christmas?
So it depends on what kind of project they are looking at. So if it's it can be something like calendar. Calendar you cannot do it in November because you need print. You need to give out. You can't give out in January because
it's too late.
Yeah, you need the calendar.
I think a lot of calendars.
You need the
October, November, December.
You need 2025 calendars
now
before 2025 starts. Then ang paos, these things that need to be printed, all this have to be way earlier. So then if it's like NDP, National Day Parade. National Day Parade starts in August, right after the previous National Day Parade. So the talks are really good. If it's like animating things that are related to animation, then animation you need clarity very early. So that's why sometimes you don't know when the wave comes. But you also kind of you also need to know what you produce. If your content is like live, maybe it's like sketching at a live event. Usually those the production time frame is shorter. Maybe there's some preparation time. You kind of like need or find a few templates to work out 1 or 2 weeks before, get the materials. But that will be your short production time. Maybe the client can approach you 1 week before and that can be done. But if it's like longer, that if you are producing murals, 10-meter murals, and then we want West Wally style. 1 month, it's not impossible to do it, but you compromise on a lot of things.
Because you need to have all the...
So if like rubber jersey, right?
So how long does it take you from concept to
So if you're listening right now, there's a rubber jersey on the table.
So
you can see it like online or something.
Is it still available from Rafa?
I'm not sure, but maybe the print is still available. Like you can find it in the clubhouse.
So how long does it take you something like this to from
concept? I think they took at least half a year.
Okay.
And or longer, partly because the jersey had many parts. So it's not just getting a drawing printed on it. So there's a back, the front, the sides.
Yep.
So each of the compartments, the different parts might need to draw a depth for different parts of the jersey because the way it's being sewed together.
Yeah.
The pockets itself is actually like 3 illustrations. The pockets is one separate illustration, the back is one illustration, the front is one illustration. So there's 3 illustrations already.
This fascinates me because I find it really amazing because, like, let's just say I'm an endurance athlete. For me, I feel like if I train hard enough, I can probably get. If I got in early enough and I trained hard enough, I'm pretty sure I can be a pretty good athlete. But I don't think I can ever train hard enough to be an illustrator like this. It's just like completely out of my realm of anything. It's just it just blows my mind how detailed, and it's just so simple.
I think that's also part of growing up.
Yeah.
Like also for me, it's like sometimes your question was like, why go into illustration? It's like, it was like growing up. It's like I think everyone started with the dream like, I want to be a pilot, I want to be an astronaut. Then it's like, astronaut in Singapore?
Probably not.
Yeah, maybe 20% chance, 10% chance. Yeah, there's somebody who try going to the stratosphere or something. Yeah, but not that realistic. So it's like in life, when you and this podcast come when like reaching past my mid-30s.
Yep.
So it's like, you kind of like checklist. Good looking, no. Athleticism, probably not me. Drawing, this.
But this is it's a pure talent. I feel because I use the same pen as you, and you just handle it differently, and your outcome is just so completely different from mine, even though it's exactly the same materials. Anyway, okay, so. I guess how's the best way to get a hold of you? Is it Xin Li 29288? Is that correct? Your Instagram?
29288. Yeah, that's for my Instagram handle. And you also can find me on I'm not so active on TikTok and LinkedIn.
So let's just before we wrap up. So you have Pok Pok Away, right?
Yeah.
What is that?
I know it's very confusing.
Because that's got a lot of followers, and then your regular one has a lot of followers.
Pok Pok Away.
It's Pok Pok and Away, right? Is that the correct term?
I also just realized I'm near my secondary school. The Lester Hill is here. So
Yes, you just did.
That's how Pok Pok Away came about.
Okay.
So I have this Toto, which is a plushie that you grew up with from your childhood.
Yep.
Even though this is not exactly my childhood, it's from my secondary school days. So I got it on a flea market from the Lester Hill. And I wanted to buy this owl. Initially, I want to buy owl soft toy.
Yep.
Then I saw this chicken soft toy. It's just like, somebody bought the
chicken.
Somebody bought the owl from before I paid for it. Just I was going to pay for it.
Sucks.
Then it's like, this chicken looks... I'll get that. Then it just stuck with me.
Yeah.
Then when coming out with the name for my social media stuff, so the name came about Pok Pok and Away. So it's like the image is that the chicken Pok Pok and then fly away.
Fly away, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like because travel.
Is that the name of your company?
No, I register under Xin Li.
Okay.
Yeah. And also initially it's like when started because sometimes so imagine like when they're pitching my brand to like serious military personnel. It's like, so can you get so eventually it's a colonel, can you get a Pok Pok Away?
Yeah. It's like when you apply for the job. When you apply for a job on your resume, it's like a Gamer Boy 52 or something. I guess before we also wrap up, you do commission pieces, you sell prints, you sell jigsaw puzzles, you sell plush toys. What's the best way to people to see your stuff and to buy your stuff?
So you want to buy prints, the best way is to go through independent market. So they have an online store. Sometimes they do pop-ups at the boutique fair. There's one coming out in November.
Okay.
Usually they have one in April and one in November annually. Then,
where is that?
They changed the venue, but consistently they have been at the F1. Yeah. So independent market usually join them for their boutique fair.
So independent market is the name of a company or a name of a website? Right?
Name of the company.
Yep.
So they use the physical store at like Holland. Oh, they still have a physical store at Holland Village Shopping Center.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they can drop in and take a look and buy stuff directly from them.
You can get your prints there, postcards, author plushies, and you want to challenge yourself, the Pita Singapura jigsaw.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought it was really cool, but then I realized it was black and white and how difficult it would be if it's
I met quite a few people who managed to do it. Yeah. I actually try to make it easier by drawing the things around the edges compared to the original, like the Pita Singapura is just pure white. Yeah,
okay.
I draw a bit more Malaysia inside so that you make it easier for the jigsaw.
to find the edge of the jigsaw.
Yeah.
Okay, Xin Li, really great to have you. Thank you so much, and I guess we'll catch up on the bike again soon, huh?
Hey, thank you.